Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crits and Knits. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
We've had life. I think all of us have had life happening, and yeah, life happens. But we are glad that some of you are back to watch us tonight. We have viewers, yay! Thank you guys.
Hi, folks.
Welcome.
I'm in a county bit. Don't mind me.
And we currently do not have a Greg to just shout out the numbers that he knows.
To mess up my counting.
I could be
That
Greg.
is not a mantle I am willing to take up.
Oh, DB, you are becoming that which you hate. You're becoming your best frenemy.
We'll have to make sure that he knows he was missed-ish.
What?
Well, his absence was noted.
Is that the same thing?
Close enough.
I'm teasing, Greg. I love you, and I hope you're able to make it in, friend.
Only some of us love you.
Oh, we all do, just in different ways.
Just in like contrarian ways.
Well, other than life being life, how have we been?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in.
Let's not ask questions like that.
Let's be more topical. How has our crafting life been? There's things. Okay. We're getting all sorts of reactions.
I think I just messed up the section that I'm working on. So.
Oh no.
Well,
I'm gonna put this aside for a second.
E, do you want to start since you had a
Sure.
giant display of happy?
Hi, Danny's mom.
Hi, Danny's
Hi,
mom.
Danny's mom. I just dropped off the big giant scrap blanket to the donation box for the Linus Project at the local Joanne Fabrics today.
That's awesome.
So that is on its way after taking a run through the laundry dryer with one of those pet hair removal dog sheets because Siggy is great at putting her hair in everything.
Yep. That does happen.
And then the other thing I've been working on is this beautiful stripy sake
I love
from
it.
the kit that I got when Ren was visiting.
From these kits.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's still sitting here. I can still reach it. I just haven't touched it yet.
That's okay.
You did, though. You just touched it. You're
There you
touching
go.
it now, Red. Look at you touch.
Sorry.
So I have to ask,
Don't be sorry. That was funny.
did you knit the first sock first or the second sock first?
The first sock first.
Ooh, brave.
But here's number 2. So like I don't have that issue.
Excellent,
'Cause
excellent.
I did make some adjustments. I started by working the pattern that was included with the kit, which was free. So I didn't have to cover the
Oh, good.
QR code after all, but
Oh, well,
it's available on Ravelry.
it's just good habit.
Yeah. But they wanted me to only cast on 8 stitches for the toe,
Oh.
and it was
That's
very small.
very narrow for a toe.
Yeah. Or 8 stitches for each side of it, but still hated the way it looked. And then the increase they wanted to do you had to use like 4 DPNs to do it and like make one left, make one right. And I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to do 16 stitches per side on the toe and do a knit front back.
Yep, that works.
And it works fine. And then it's just straight vanilla knitting. And then I did the old Fish Lips Kiss heel.
Love that.
It took me a whole day to do that because I kept goofing up in various different places and having to rip back, and then I'd get almost done, and then
it's definitely one that
Neko.
takes some time to get the hang of.
Yeah.
But once you get it, man, it feels good, doesn't it?
No, I don't think I'll ever do another. Well, I won't say never, but this will be my preferential heel. Yeah. And then learning. Look, Siggy hair. Learning from
my cats are like that too.
Learning from my experience with the rainbow socks that I did with the Knit Circus yarn. I threw in like a 4-stitch increase partway up, and then I threw in another one right before I started the ribbing. And when I tried it on, it did not strangle my calf, and I don't think we're gonna have quitters. So
yay,
good deal.
Love it.
So then I started on the second sock, and I got all the way to starting to do the heel, and I went, I messed up somewhere because this count isn't coming out right. I increased too many.
Oh.
when I was increasing for the toe box.
That's so excited.
I had to completely start over.
Oh.
So now we're just like 6 rows into the sole.
Yeah. I hate that feeling.
Oh well.
But...
Yeah.
I'm loving this yarn. Dan, you were right. It's splitty as all get out, but like
it's so nice.
It is. It's so soft.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
I described it in the Discord as like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my god, it's making a stripe. Oh my god, it's making a stripe.
That is the thing about self-striping stuff, is that it is just addictive like that. Oh, just one more stripe. Just one more stripe. Yeah. And it's so easy to just keep going.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Well, yay, that's a lot of sock. That is a lot of sock. I love it.
Oh, had I finished Siggy's dragon sweater last time?
You had not.
No.
Oh, I finished Siggy's dragon sweater.
Yay.
It's downstairs. I don't want to go get it. I did run into an issue, which happens with almost all her sweaters, is it like slides down her shoulders and ends up being like an off the shoulder number.
Ooh la la.
Just because of the way she's built.
Yeah.
So I took some darts in the neck part of it, and that is holding it up a little better so she doesn't turn into like Flashdance.
I love that though. The idea of a Flashdance dog. Just
yeah. She loves it. Loves it. Because she can the way the chest is constructed with the sleeves or the leg holes, she can pretty much get her leg in all by herself.
Oh.
And she hates having her feet touched, so she's like, this is great. I can put my own feet in here.
Greg is on his way home.
Yay.
Oh, all right, cool.
How dare.
He'll be here in a few minutes. I know, right? Fucker.
That's fine. We'll let him in eventually.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, I have been knitting. I'm finally getting my knitting mojo back. I did not have any for a little while.
For very good reason.
Yes. Hershey has had her surgery, and that went well. The second lump they took off of her turned out to just be a fatty deposit, not another tumor. So that is very good. But we're still doing chemo, essentially. She's on medication still. And we go back in another 2 weeks to see how everything's doing. But she is ready to be back to normal. And she's not allowed to be back to normal yet. So that's lots of fun. But I finally started getting my knitting mojo back. So I've got little things. I haven't finished anything since the last time well, I actually might have finished my Star Wars socks, but they're already put away. But I only had like a cuff left on those. But I've done some things. I've been working on my D&Dster project. So just try not to memorize this map, but it's not even gonna
It blurs it out.
Hey.
Oh, let's see if I can turn that off, because that'll be a problem.
That's amazing.
There we go.
Don't memorize this map.
I mean, we wouldn't if we could see it.
So
good.
I'm working on the double knitting. So it's the opposite on the other side. And there's a charm on one side, but not on the other. And this is also using earth yarns. And it's just it's such nice stuff to work with. And when you work with it on, like, I think these are a 6? They're a 4. A US 4. It gives such a drapey fabric. Like, it feels like a comfy shirt. Like, it's that level of drape. There's got to be a better word for the feeling I'm trying to convey. But it's like the floppiness of it. Yeah, it is. It's kind of flowy. But it's really nice in a larger gauge, and it makes a really nice fabric. So I've been working on that. I must have finished my Star Wars socks because I've got the toes of another pair. So this is the next pair in the Star Wars socks saga, is what my project is called. And I don't have the label in here. So I don't actually know who this colorway is supposed to be, but I'll find it out before I finish the 2 pairs. But
Darth Maul? Maybe?
Possibly. I think this is later in the series where she stops naming them after actual characters because the mouse was not wanting that.
Mousin.
Mouse be mousin.
The mouse do be mousin.
But I've still got probably another dozen different skeins in that collection to work through. So it's just, when I finish a pair for my husband, I then knit a pair for myself. And then when I finish mine, I start the next color. And I just do that. I've been doing it. I think I've done 6 or 7 sets so far. But again, they're stripy. And so it's just, I'll just do one more stripe. Just one more stripe. It'll be fine. And then I must have really gotten my mojo back because I started something this weekend. I'm going to be seeing a friend of mine in 2 weeks. I'm traveling for work, but I'll be traveling to a place where my friend lives, and they have a baby. So I started a sweater for a baby.
Okay.
And I am on the sleeve now. I've done everything but the last sleeve, and I've got a couple of ends still to weave in. It looks like way more ends, but these ones are actually woven in. I just haven't trimmed them. I don't trim them till after I wash. But this is also knit with self-striping yarn. So it does like a color blocking.
Oh, I like that.
And I'm really enjoying it. Baby things are so cute. I like when I have friends who have babies because then I can knit baby stuff, and it just goes so fast compared to like a grown-up sweater. But yeah, I decided that I was going to make a baby sweater for their baby, and then I realized that I haven't made anything for Mama, so I put some feelers out, and I'm going to be making her some mittens too. So, yeah, she had requested mittens, so we got a baby sweater started, and after the baby sweater's done, then I'll cast on mittens because I need to finish something before I start something new. Maybe. What else have we got? DB, do you have anything that you want to show us? No.
Still working on the color hue for the
color
hue shift Afghan. I have bought more of those kits. So I'll be making. I enjoy
addicted.
that. I also got another pattern. It was free. That is very similar to that one. That I'll probably do for some like scrap yarn stuff that I have, or yarn that I've bought that I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? Yeah, but I don't really have anything right now. Life be lifing, so.
Life be lifing. And how about Tiana? You're counting. Catch you in the bad moment.
No, you're fine. I just tinked back the bit that I was working on.
Oh.
Still working on the Eternal Shawl. Haven't done much with it. I got like 4 rows done yesterday because I was in a D&D game and there was combat, so you know.
Combat is the best time for
Everyone does.
knitting.
There's actually a video that went out to the patrons of the Redacted Reports.
I saw that
this last week, and I made the comment in the because I'm the one who uploads all that stuff. I think everyone kind of knew that.
What? I didn't know that.
When there's a scene happening, the editor Tiana isn't in. It looks to be a long scene. Yeah, Faye does pick up and start knitting because that's a good way to like do something with hands and keep listening.
Yep.
Without tapping or messing with dice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like super important to whether or not I'm tapping dice, but I also like when I'm scrolling through and looking at the audio, I'm looking for any instance where Dan might randomly be like, "Hey guys, roll some person who hasn't been talking, roll some dice for me." Mm-hmm. So I always look to see if something's happening with those taps, so it slows me down on the scrubbing side of things.
Yeah.
Which is why in my pre-flight speech, it's always, please move your loud fiddles away from your hand and keep your dice away from your dominant hand. Yeah. I don't edit your audio, DB, so I don't care. Yet. True. This is my fiddle that I have to play with. It makes kind of squishy sounds. But if I'm quiet with it or I'm just like moving it around in my hand, it doesn't make noise.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to like get knitting because like it's gonna be something that I can't count because then I won't pay attention to what's happening around me.
Yeah, things that you have to count are not great for during games that people are shouting out numbers and ACs and hit points. No.
Gotta figure out what, because I'm thinking about when Ren and I are playing. Gotta figure out what I would do because there's too many things on my desk that I can fiddle with.
Yeah, that happens. Well, that's why I've got my my podcast scarf sitting right here. It's just
knit a circle.
Knit a circle, and it is on small circulars. I think they're 16-inch, so it's a double thickness scarf. But I'm doing a super lightweight yarn, and I just knit in the round. There's no dropping needles. There's no switching stuff over for magic loop. There's no moving DPNs around. It's just around and around and around and around and around.
Just something to keep your hands busy while you're doing other things.
Yep.
That might be what I do. I just do a whole bunch of fucking dice bags.
Yeah.
There you go.
I found a project that I kind of want to do.
That sounded like a confession. Go on.
So,
do it, coward.
You may have heard that there was an album released this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Taylor Swift released an enormous album.
Yeah, that tells you who I don't listen to much.
Yeah. Well, I am not a Swiftie, but I enjoy her music, and I've been watching the Eras tour on the Disney Plus. Watching it with my friend Tanya, actually. We do watch parties together where we just both put it on in the background and sing along and like do housework on Sundays and stuff. And because the release was this weekend, Instagram has been feeding me a whole bunch of Taylor Swift related reels. And one of them was this woman who crocheted a giant Eras Tour blanket with images for each of the different eras and the different color appropriate things. And there's a chart that you can buy that you can use for crochet, you can use for knitting, or you can use for cross stitch. Yes, DB?
Can you send that to me as well? I have a friend who's into Taylor Swift.
I will absolutely do that. So yeah,
drop it in the Discord.
Oh, I wonder if I can manage that. Yeah, I should be able to do that. I'll pop it in the Discord. I'll drop it in our general channel later after we're done recording. But yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I could do that. And then a little part of my brain said, you could, but should you?
Mm-hmm.
And then I sent it to my friend who said, you could do that. Oh, well, now I might have to.
I'm not going to tell the friend I'm doing it because it'll never get done if I do that.
Yeah.
You know. But if it's something that you're working on and they're not aware of it, then it's a fun thing. Also, I agree with Desert Neko. Braiding discs or a lucid or a kumihimo is fantastic for that kind of thing. I watch people do that in SCA events where they're just like their fingers are moving, but they're paying attention to what's going on.
Mm-hmm. We could get you a spinning
I
wheel.
did lucid for something.
I actually have a
forever ago.
lucid.
Danny, did you just say we could get me a spinning wheel?
Yeah.
So what? I'm scooted all the way back with my microphone here just spinning? What are you talking about?
Why not?
No.
I should do that for one of our episodes. Maybe I'll bring my wheel downstairs.
Spinning wheels make noise,
Yeah,
and
they do.
I want to get that noise. I want to record that noise because it's like that swish swish sound.
But also, it'll prick your finger and fall to
You
sleep.
won't. There's nothing pokey on my spinning wheel.
I'm not a princess, or at least I'm not that princess.
And honestly, it was probably a very old distaff attached to a spinning wheel,
That sounds right.
because those have to be pointy so that you can stab the flax, so you can spin linen. And I've spun linen exactly once, and it sucked. And I don't want to do that again.
Daddy's home.
You are way too excited about that, E.
So here's the
I want to see
question.
what he's been working on. I know he finished his fancy socks.
Oh
Well-
yeah, if we can get him in quick.
Yeah. You know what? Because it will throw off all of our positioning. So everyone hold on for just a moment. I'm going to go to our Be Right Back screen.
Hurry up, Greg.
Go get your shit, man. You should have been
He's
prepared.
He's already in the waiting room. So hang on, folks. We'll be right back with Daddy. Look who we found.
Look at that, he's here, and I got through the counting bit, including redoing the counting bit without you yelling numbers at me.
Oh, I was yelling numbers at you. You were just
We just
like,
couldn't hear.
I just couldn't hear you.
yes, Blueberry and my wife were in the girl. Why are you counting number? I said, because of this. It's what I do.
It's just what I do.
It's what I do. So, yes. Okay.
Hi,
so
welcome back.
I have my socks.
Oh my god, it's
They're
attached to a
legs.
foot.
I love it.
Whose foot did you cut off for that, Greg?
It's his foot, obviously.
On the advice
Dan
of my
hollowed
attorney,
out.
advice of my attorney, I have been told not to answer that. I do not need to answer that question.
That's very fair.
I was actually looking for those the other day because I was like, I need something better than my own leg to display socks on.
Yeah.
What did you type in to find that?
Foot.
Because the
first
things
step-
I saw were
First step,
not.
put safe search on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got it at Amazon. I'll see if I can find what I got and send you a link.
Okay, cool.
Or something like that. I can check my purchase history.
Awesome. Because I kept coming across like pedicure practice models
Right.
with
Okay,
like
that's
individual
oh.
toes.
Yeah,
and I'm
with
like,
little toes and they're squishy and right. No,
I
this
mean,
is
I assume
like
they'd be functional.
like for
I
real
guess.
mannequin quality, plastic, hard, awesome stuff here.
I mean, had I been thinking, I would have stolen some from work, but
I wasn't going to
Yeah.
say anything, but
Well, you just
Oh
need
god,
to go.
the mannequins, they follow me. What mannequin?
I have two of them upstairs.
yes.
Of course you
I have
do.
a glass
You-
head also.
Y'all's
Um,
houses are just littered with mannequin parts.
Yes.
Yep.
I have
Who
a
are
glass
you
head, I have a
talking about?
fabric
Hold
head.
on.
Everyone.
Look,
Whose house
y'all-
is littered with mannequin parts?
well, let's start with Danny.
I mean,
Okay.
I have a head, a torso, and 2 feet.
Okay.
Mannequin parts.
Yeah.
Greg's got the glass head and at least one disembodied foot.
I've got
Okay.
this foot, and I've got a fabric head, like for that's for wigs. You know, not the glass head, but I've got one that's for doing wigs, and then I've got a well, Blueberry has a dress form, which is like mannequin adjacent.
That is mannequin
Yeah.
adjacent. You've got a foam head right next to you, and a skeleton that rides in your car.
He's not a mannequin. That is
That
Dr. Jim.
counts.
That is
Does
Doctor.
not. You leave him out of this. But
think
also,
Ian
I
and I
have
are
a
the-
whole mannequin in the basement. So
And it's even in a basement. I used to have a dress form, and then I got rid of it because I was never using it because I left it on top. I left it with a plastic bottom on top of the floor heater.
oh shit.
I woke up to the smell of burning plastic one morning.
Yeah.
I
That
wonder
That was fun.
why.
Yeah, that's a smell that get like you know how the sound of a cat herking is that like get you out of bed very fast. The smell of burning has the same effect on me.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's fair.
House on fire? Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too.
So anyway, I'll say a little more about my socks. I finished them up. I actually went and took pictures of them today, put them on the Instagram, and this is
Do it for the gram.
the Instagrams. Uh, get off my lawn. And this is the yarn is from Nordic Star Yarns, and it is in the Unraveling a Knitting podcast colorway. She specifically like took the colors out of our logo
So cool.
and did it, and it was a lot of fun working with it. And runner up I think was the name of the red that I used for the heels, toes, and cuffs. And so it's fun. So I think I'm going to wear them tomorrow for the first time. I mean, I've tried them on and everything, but I think like wear them tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So as soon as I finished, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if we could commission them to do that with the Crits and Knits colors, because that would be pretty cool.
Ooh,
There's a good possibility I can get us in touch with the right people.
excellent.
I think that would be very fun.
So as soon as I finished those socks, I cast on my next set of socks with the String Theory Colorworks yarn, which is a self-striping, beautiful 80s neon rainbow.
That is right.
And
I love it.
yes, and so I've got the Fish Lips Kiss Heel going on with this one again, as I am wont to do lately. And one of these colors is Blacklight Reactive, but I forget which one Caitlin said it was, and I'm too lazy to pull my blacklight bulb out of the box that it's in and plug it into a light fixture somewhere in the house to see.
check.
You even
I-
have one, and you don't even have to obtain one. You already have one. You can't can be bothered. I love it.
Yeah, I have two because I need to back up. so in case I try the one and it doesn't work, I've got to back
Of course.
up, I guess. Yeah, so I was actually thinking of getting like a blacklight flashlight. That's what Caitlin had at the booth, because like she was able to just like she had it in her
Shine it at
pocket like a
something.
little like an engineer and just shine it right on the stuff to show you which ones it was and everything. I mean, it's science, my friends.
Science.
Science. Yes.
Science
anyway.
rules.
Anyway, I think this is ready for me to switch back to the cuff color and then start the first sock. So
Nice.
that's it. I have made zero progress on my D&D-ster, but it's okay because Easter happens every year.
It does. It does.
That's what I have.
Woohoo.
Also, this is what's left of my first ball of yarn for the shawl that I'm working on.
Nice.
It is very close to being done, and this is one of those like you can just do into infinity as long as you have yarn. And I have another like big ball of yarn and another one up there, so like I could make
Ooh.
this enormous if I feel so inclined. I'm more likely to go through maybe, I don't know, a fourth to a third of this with it, and then make a pair of matching magic hand warmers.
So I will say, as someone who has knitted exactly one insanely giant shawl, I adore that thing. Like it, I am short, so it happens to almost touch the floor when draped over me.
Wow.
It's a triangle one, so the two fronts almost touch the floor and the back almost touches the floor. But it is so wonderful to just like curl up in. It is almost like a blanket. I love it for watching TV. But I fold it in half and use it folded in half to drape over my shoulders more appropriately, I guess, so it's not dragging everywhere. More conveniently. But I absolutely adore having a massive one.
The Imagine Landscapes podcast calls that like something like that a wearable blanket.
Yes, it absolutely is a wearable blanket. I'm planning to take it with me when I go traveling because I can wear it as a shawl to get onto the plane and then cover myself with it on the plane, which I'm always cold on a plane. So.
Oh yeah, I wear a lot of layers on planes because I get cold.
Yeah. You had something to show us.
I got Clippies.
Yay, Clippies!
I saw Nimble Needles on YouTube had more advanced knitting hacks video for people who are like, I've seen that knitting hack, I know what I'm doing. And this one I thought was going to be very helpful. You take a little barrette clip and you take your end of your ball that you're going to put in storage and you just clip that sucker on there and it's not going to unravel.
That is very handy. It probably is much more secure than just the tucking it in that I do.
Yeah, well, I'm very guilty of using Ziploc bags to corral all my yarn, but I got these. I wouldn't necessarily recommend these exact ones that I picked up from the Dollar Tree because they're textured, and I noticed in my demonstration that it's catching on the fibers a little bit, but was $1.25. So
yeah.
I enjoy how you pronounce that tool.
Clippies?
Starting with the B.
Oh, barrette?
Oh yeah. I heard it as like barrette from you, but it's like burette. It's like a B-U-R-E-T-T down here in the south.
See, when I was little, I would always just call them baries, but I know nobody else knows what that is. So
that's kind of cool.
That's almost Australian, like check the strip on the barbie.
Yeah.
I love it.
Put them bobbies in your hair.
That's so cute.
Give me a beer, the baries.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is that all for us? I think that's all for the knitting parts. So, if everyone doesn't mind us stepping away for a brief break, we're going to...
It doesn't matter if they mind or not. We're doing it anyway.
We're going to do it whether you mind or not. We're going to go ahead, take our quick little break, get ourselves set up for recording and get playing some D&D. So we will see you all in a few minutes. Hello, and welcome to episode 33 of Crits and Knits. Now I'm going to ask the really hard question. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Who's Pete?
I just hit the wrong button and stopped my recording. That's fine. I'm just going to start my Audacity recording again. E, do you want us to do another clap?
Yeah, let's do one more clap just to...
All right. So that
Let's
we're
do
all...
a clap on screen.
We'll do a clap on
Save me the
you
trouble.
can see the background, folks.
Little
Yeah.
inside baseball behind
Part
the
of the
curtains.
kimono.
That's right.
Oh my. And 3, 2, 1. All right. We'll try this again. Welcome to episode 33 of Crits and Knits. And now the big question. Who remembers what's happened?
It was the All Nelitha show last time.
It was an All
Oh,
Nelitha show
fuck.
last time.
That's why I
damn
couldn't
it.
remember what happened.
That's why none of us were.
So
I wasn't there last time.
I thought something happened after that episode because I don't know, life. But if it was the all Nelitha show, Nelitha decided to break into an office
She did.
and poke around quite a bit. I think we found out some information. Do I remember what that information is? No. But I think we have decided that it is not the headmaster that is the bad guy. Well, I think Nelitha has decided that, and it's some other person that everybody has been bitching about, but maybe it's a red herring. But everything points to that person at the moment. So we'll probably need to go break into his office next.
There's a Horith. I wrote down Horith as the first name of
Horith, I
somebody.
believe, is the person that is the problem. Or might be the problem. The one that everybody has a complaint about, but for some reason they're not firing the bastard.
Well, he has tenure.
Yeah, once they have tenure, they're awfully hard to get rid of.
Then murder
Academia.
them. Honestly.
I mean, I agree, but
They don't need to fire him. They need to fireball him.
yeah,
They are a school of wizards. Why haven't they fireballed him yet?
So yes, you did find a bunch of stuff. There was an open file on the desk, and it was Callie's file, which was interesting. You found a magical quill pen. Let's see. You found a very fat file on a student named Tybalt, who was a very, very bad student.
Tybalt. I love that name.
You did find a letter about Horith from Last Peak, one from Professor Dane, and one from Linrit Hyace written in Halfling. And you copied down all 3 of these letters.
Yes.
Does anyone remember what the rest of the gang had been up to before the All Nelitha episode? This was
They were
back
hanging out in a
February.
library.
Fought some mimics in a library.
You did.
Yeah.
You fought a bunch of mimics in a library. And the headmaster...
Stole a book.
Didn't we return it?
Tried to steal a book. Isolta had opinions on that.
I thought at the end Assault picked it up as we were leaving.
I think she might have.
Heard her had a nice sob story about wanting to give it to
His
forgot her name.
girlfriend.
Hespera.
His girlfriend that he keeps
Look, it's
trying
been
to
a
cheat
minute.
on.
I'm so sick. Yeah. And I think that touched Assault's heart, and Assault picked it back up.
I doubt it.
And I believe...
Could be. It was kind of vague.
Um,
And then we talked with the headmaster afterwards. Got a drink.
and he was
And-
going to find a potion
Gonna find a healing potion for us.
and then come back to meet you guys.
Yeah, he
Yes.
came into the office when I was looking through his shit. And I
Yeah,
just sneakity snackety out of there.
and you did.
Rogue, baby.
So we're going to pick up just after that. Nelitha, do you recall where you went after you got out of the office?
Yes, I went to the courtyard to wait for my friends to come out of the library.
All right, perfect. So we are going to pick up with Nelitha in the courtyard.
With the
And
wrench.
the rest of you are still in the library. Nelitha, as you're sitting there, being oh so very casual, I would like you to roll me. We're going to call it stealth.
Oh. Okay. Well, why am I worried about that? That's not this
Are you
character
good at stealth?
Yeah. Also, if not, I do have the luck feat, so using Greg's teeny tiny die.
Oh,
'Cause I
those
don't-
ones are
all of my-
terrible.
No. Mm-mm.
My
Don't
play with
those are
those.
cursed.
Mm-mm.
Those are
They're
cursed.
very cursed.
31?
How'd she get the good
Right.
ones?
She got all the good ones.
What
guess.
did you roll on the die? Is the
A
real question.
19.
Damn.
Yeah, you got the
Never
good
seen
ones.
that on that die.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen higher than like a 6 on my d20.
I've gotten a few higher than that on my mini ones, but
Don't
I
do
put
it.
my mini
they
ones back in the
said.
bag. I'm not using them anymore.
They make for a more interesting game. In any case, with a 31, the headmaster does not notice you as he crosses back
Bad.
across the courtyard and back to the library. And
I have a question for Nelitha. Are you still disguised as the disguise that we would recognize you when we
Yes.
do
I
come
had-
out?
Yes.
Okay.
So I hadn't changed into the boy because it was going to be if I was about to get caught. So I'd still look like the kid that you know is me.
That I'm claiming as my niece.
Sure.
Sandy Two Toes?
Yep.
Sammy Two Toes, right? Thank you. Forgot.
so the headmaster returns, and Herder, you see him looking around, and he spots you quite quickly. Mr. Nightshade.
Hello. Thank you.
Here, this should help you feel somewhat better. And he passes you a vial with a rather familiar looking red liquid in it.
Herder will take that and stick it in his pocket. He says, I think I'll be fine for now. I will save it for later. I really do greatly appreciate it.
You're sure? You looked quite rough after that encounter.
I ended up finding a little bit while you were off. I got a little bit of help.
Oh,
And again, I'm
Lovely.
sure I'll be fine until the evening.
all right. Well, you have it just in case you start feeling poorly. We want
I appreciate that.
our benefactors to be feeling as appreciated as they truly are.
You are doing a great job. I felt very, very welcome. And again, was so nice to see all of those books in the private section, even with the mimics there. But
Yes.
so
Well,
nice to see them. I know they're going to be well cared for at this school and
So-
appreciated.
I said we will have to investigate that mimic incident.
See that you do.
I really don't understand how they could have gotten in there.
Where were they supposed to be?
Oh, not at the school.
Okay.
Although I
Just
suppose
making sure.
they do keep some over in the as DB pulls out a mimic. they do keep.
I have two, actually. You want to see the other one?
He's like, oh, it's a pocket mimic.
Oh, that sounds
It's my
dangerous.
walking around mimic.
There are a few mimics over in the well, I hesitate to call it a zoo, but we do have to
It
have
is what it is.
a place for the students to learn about these creatures. So,
Menagerie.
the menagerie, yes, that's the word. There are a few that are contained, but they are contained, and as far as I'm aware, we haven't had any security incidents there. But I will check the logs.
Oh, and you don't have to worry about the ones that were in the library. We took care of those for you. You might call the janitorial services to
Yes, I will.
finish.
I will get a cleaning crew on that. And as a matter of fact, if you'll give me just a moment, I will make sure that someone takes care of that before we head to my office for that slightly stronger drink that I had mentioned. And he disappears into the crowd, as much as someone with as much pomp and circumstance as he has can disappear into a crowd.
As soon as he does, Herder pulls that potion out and casts Identify on it.
Okay. It
Fair.
is a potion of greater healing.
Okay.
So you now have that in your inventory.
Thank you. Herder was not entirely trusting, so
I wonder
smart.
why.
well, I mean, he's lying his ass off. He's yeah.
So it takes a few minutes, and you're able to see the headmaster moving through the room, finding his aide, giving them a bit of a dressing down, pointing, gesturing, gesticulating towards the back area. You can't hear what he's saying, but he's very clearly unhappy. And this poor aide just looks panicked and scurries off. Presumably to find either a janitor or the security staff at the menagerie. They're taking care of things. It takes a few more minutes for the headmaster to get back to you because he is, of course, the headmaster, and at an event like this, he is the center of attention and people want to talk to him. He is shaking hands, he is patting students on heads rather condescendingly, and they're just taking it. There are some professors who are very clearly hanging on his every word, doing their best to earn their tenure. And he does eventually make his way back to you. Right. Well, Mr. Nightshade, if you would like to have that discussion in my office, we can talk about the donations and anything else that you are concerned about.
All right. Let's all go.
Lovely. And he begins striding out the door, looking just as pompous and majestic as when he strode in the first place. I assume.
As I follow, I hope my friends do as well, and I'm keeping my eye out to see if I notice nephew Nelitha anywhere as we go around.
Nephew?
I always got my eye.
Nibbling.
Go ahead
Nibbling.
and roll me a perception, please. And Owen and Isolde can also roll perception.
Okay. That is a 10. It was briefly hovering on the 13 before rolling onto the 3.
21.
21. Okay.
My D&D Beyond this doesn't seem to be working, so let me pull out some real dice.
You
I
should
mean,
be
my passive-
always using real dice anyway.
My passive is 17. I don't know if that counts for anything.
Okay.
I rolled a 17 and I have a +7, so it's 24.
Okay.
That is how math works. Well done.
I know numbers.
That you do. So with those rolls, all three of you notice that poor Erasmus is unable to extricate himself from Callie and the other students that seem quite enamored with him.
Aww.
And
Aw.
honestly, you see his face, and he is having a grand old time regaling them with stories. And you're quite certain that you could leave for several hours and come back, and he'd still be in the same spot telling stories to these kids. And that is fantastic.
Those kids would be eating up every word.
However, with Nelitha's stealth of 31, none of you really notice her in the courtyard as you're
I
crossing.
literally could not roll high enough to get short of a nat 20, which you don't crit on skill checks.
Nope. But Nelitha, you are able to spot your friends crossing.
I'll just swagger up behind them and follow.
All right. Let me just see if our headmaster notices.
Do I need to roll stealth again?
No, he rolled a 2. He did not notice someone else joining the little parade.
He's so accustomed to being followed by an entourage, he doesn't even notice.
That's true. He's used to people just behind him, so...
that seems like a bad survival strategy.
Really is.
Well, you all do notice that there are a couple of his aides who are tagging along as well.
Do they notice Nelitha? Are they any more use?
Let's see. That is an excellent question.
Wow.
Well, that
Thanks,
one's a
Rand.
3. That one's a 15. I think the 15 is going to notice the extra person joining. And she looks at you, Nelitha. I'm sorry. Can I help you?
Oh, I was just joining my uncle.
Oh, of course.
Oh, there you are, Sammy. Thank you. Yeah, we're just heading into the headmaster's. I'm sure you can come with us. Come on.
Okay.
All right, and the headmaster leads you to his office.
Hearing Nelitha be soft and subdued is hysterical.
It's very weird.
Who are you? What have you done with my Nelitha?
You're Nelitha.
Oh. So you get to the headmaster's office. And he takes you in through the main doors, and you see again the reception sort of area where it's got the one table, or desk rather, with all the papers all over it, the files everywhere. There's a cupboard in the corner. There are the files in the far corner, and there are 2 sets of doors. And the headmaster walks to the door on the left. And Nelitha, you notice that while you had to do the thing with the pulling the daggers, and it was a whole thing to get into the room, as he reaches for the doorknob, you see his fingers do a little swish, and the door just opens.
That's some bullshit.
It's some magical bullshit is what it is.
And he takes you all into the rather sparse room that is to the left. The room that just has a couple of chairs, a desk, nothing fancy. I think I may have to pick you all up and put you in there.
We're just throwing ourselves against the wall.
Oh, I'm not in there at all.
Me either. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't want my stuff messing up again.
That's okay. We've got some friends who are in there. For those of you, of course, we don't have it showing up on screen. We are using One More Multiverse for our back end to give the players something to look at and see, just to have a visual.
Herder's a jerk and comes to pretend that he's going to sit in like what is obviously the headmaster's chair before he comes in and sits down where he should be.
And the headmaster...
You don't mind if I sit, do you?
No. Of course, of course.
Exciting day.
Yes, absolutely. There's been a great deal going on. So, thank you for coming and sitting. You were interested in a beverage, were you not? Something perhaps a little stronger than the...
Absolutely. Never say no to that.
All right. I do have some ale, but I also have some whiskey.
I would love to sample your whiskey.
That's what she said.
Lovely. And he cocks his head to the side. I'm sorry. How is this young one with you?
Oh, my nibbling, Sammy.
Oh.
This is
hello.
Sammy was one of the main reasons we were interested in making the donation here because Sammy attends.
Yes.
And he looks at you a little bit more closely. Do you?
Yes.
And your name again?
Sammy.
Your last name?
Two Toes.
Two Toes. And,
Fuck. That is not Nilitha saying fuck. That is
Yeah,
Evie
no.
saying fuck.
he gets quiet. Anything
Oh,
for
shit.
your companions to drink?
And I look to them to answer for themselves.
Whiskey would also be lovely.
No, thank you.
Right. One moment. And you see him do the same gesture to the door behind him, and he disappears into that room.
I don't actually want to say any like suspicious thing out loud because this is a very powerful magic user's office, and I don't even want to know what kind of like things he has set up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
Owen's making big eyes like, you fucked up.
All right.
Wait, which door did he go towards? Is it the one that we came in from?
The back
Or the
door.
up
the
one?
other, the up door.
The up door.
The up
I'm
door.
gonna-
Like,
Gonna-
is that like up dog?
I'm gonna shimmy out the other door
You're leaving?
stealthily. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna stealth my way out of this.
Okay.
I stealthed my way into this problem, and now I'm
I
gonna
can
stealth my way back out.
Okay. All right.
So worried of what he's gonna do.
Are you going all
Check
the way
the door,
out?
because like my initial thought was he just locked us in here.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up his stuff real quick.
No, you don't need to pull up his stuff, Danny.
Yes, I do.
There's
Oh,
so many
no.
kids here. He doesn't know everybody who goes to school here.
I think he'd remember a motherfucker called Sammy Two Toes.
Only if I got in trouble all the time. Maybe I'm a good student.
Yeah, pull the other one. It's got bells on.
Where is the thing that I'm looking for?
You're not looking for anything, Danny.
It's gone. It's
fine.
it's disappeared.
It's
These are not
fine.
the things you're looking for.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
God damn it.
Oh, well, that's the problem. Sorry.
That's the problem. It's me.
There is no problem. I don't know what you're talking about, Danny. I'm a good kid. Mommy, wow. I'm a good kid now.
This is what I want.
I'm a big kid
It's
now.
not what you want, Danny.
It is what I want.
Stop
Okay, so-
lying
Tell
to
me.
us.
Tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
I'm so glad I wasn't the only one who went there.
So Nelitha, you have slipped back out.
Mm-hmm. Stealthily.
All the way to the hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you still in the building?
Still on this plane.
I don't have plane shift.
He comes back
Are you
in.
sure? Because you've rolled in the 30s before.
God, if she had plane shift, she would be fucking unstoppable.
Oh god.
Bibbity babbity out. And blink, gone.
He comes back
I mean,
through
you
the
already
door.
basically do that. Sorry.
It's fine. He's carrying a tray that has 3 glasses on it, and he sets it on the table in front of him on the desk, and looks at the 3 of you and says, "Well, I think it's time for us to have a discussion.
What was that hand gesture?
I would like you all to make me charisma saves, please."
You are all within 10 feet of me. So you get a +4 to your saving throws.
Thank God
Hey.
Nilitha left.
I'm scared of the D&D D&D Beyond dice. I'm rolling my own.
You should always roll your own.
Well, I'm gonna roll
I-
Rowan's dice because I never
Oh,
rolled the D20s and Rowan's
Owen.
dice. Neat.
We got a plus what, Ren?
You get a +4.
25 for Herder.
Also 25.
Okay, I'm just trying to find my number here.
The number you're looking for is 3.
Yes. At this point, Greg, your numbers are welcome.
3.
At least the low ones.
2. Pi.
Pi?
Hi.
Pi.
Oh,
2 pi minus e.
Oh.
That isn't a number. That is a lot of numbers.
Okay.
Hi,
I missed the numbers. 25.
20.
Who had 25 or higher?
Herder and Isolde
and
both
Isolde.
had 25.
So if it meets, it beats. Cool.
Wait!
Holy
Oh, no!
shit! What?
That makes me feel a little bit better.
Well, you are dealing with the headmaster of a magical college.
Yeah, Tiamat doesn't have a spell save DC that high.
Yeah, well, he's got really good
Tiamat's not the
charisma.
headmaster of a wizard college.
No, she's a goddess of dragons.
So Owen,
Oh,
Baby.
you cannot speak a deliberate lie at this point.
Zone of truth, baby.
That is a high DC zone of truth. Holy hell.
Yes, it is.
neither am I compelled to answer, though.
Correct.
Correct.
You are aware of the spell.
Okay.
So
Does this spell work? Does the caster know who was affected and who wasn't?
yes.
Okay.
Knows whether each creature succeeds or fails.
Okay.
So he raises an eyebrow.
Isolde will fold her hands under her chin and give him an eyebrow right back and say, well, that's an interesting way to treat guests.
Herder reaches for a whiskey and
Well,
holds it.
unfortunately, I spend much of my time dealing with petulant wizarding students, and it's much easier to cut to the chase. As it is, I will agree to tell you the truth if you agree to do the same.
See, now that's a much more polite way to do it, as opposed to coming in spells ablazing.
Yes. Well,
I understand, sir, that you deal with children a great deal. We are not that.
We're
Clearly.
the opposite of children.
We are very much the
We are
opposite of
old.
children.
and he gives you all an up and down look. Indeed. Well, let us begin on the right foot then. I am Headmaster Idor Iridium. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Owen Thorne.
Pleasure to meet you, Owen Thorne.
I'm just a guy who likes books and beer.
Shall I call you Guy, or do you have a preferred name?
Whatever you want.
Guy it is. And you?
I am Isolde Argry.
A pleasure to meet you, Salt Argray. I assume then that you are not, in fact, Mr. Nightshade.
I never claimed to be. I just didn't disagree when people assumed. And I won't disagree with you with your assumption either.
Fair enough. The student is one of your associates?
No.
You're not here. Shut up.
This is the first time I've ever seen the student.
He will look at Owen.
Owen looks back.
Have you encountered this student before? Who, I am aware, is not a student.
What?
I have never seen that student before today.
And he chuckles. Clearly, this is not the first for any of you. I like this. I like this. I don't usually get a challenge. All right. Well,
How about this? We trade a question for a question.
I am satisfied with that. And if you would like, I can pour all 3 whiskeys into a bottle and split it up again. I certainly need a drink. I'd like you to feel that you can trust what I provide.
Herder
That
puts the
seems-
whiskey glass back down.
That does seem fair. And Isolde will hand hers back.
All right. And he reaches into the drawer that was empty when Nelitha was examining the room. Opens it up, pulls out a larger cup, pours all 3 whiskeys into it, swirls it around, and carefully pours back into the 3 glasses. Picks up his cup, raises it, and takes a sip before setting it down. I assumed you'd like to
Herder
go
does.
first.
Isolde
Herder
will
does the
wait.
same.
Yeah. Isolde will wait about 10 seconds to see if there's any ill effects before sipping her own.
Herder doesn't wait. He goes in and gets his sip.
The headmaster sort of settles back in his chair now that those of you who are drinking have had a sip. All right. I must admit, it's a refreshing change not to be arguing over some sort of grades or expulsions. So, a question for a question. I'll let you start.
We're
Much
already
obliged.
2 behind.
Technically 1.
He asked who we were and asked about Sammy.
But he told us his name first, so that's really only 1 behind.
We didn't ask him to.
He sighs. I thought this was going to be more pleasant.
Isolde chuckles, sips her drink. Well, old adventurers. It goes one of 2 ways.
True enough. Your question.
I'll look at Assault.
I'm trying to think of what the right thing to ask is, because all right.
Oh, nothing.
I'm bad. Also, I'm bad at notes, so I'm trying to remember. We came here because we've been dealing with all. This is Ren speaking, not Assault. We came here because we've been dealing, obviously, with all the necromancy and grafting bullshit going on. And when the wish spell went off, this guy turned up as a light statue in the village, and was identified as the headmaster of this place. But the thing that Erasmus had asked for was the owner of the portal, as opposed to the person who did the thing, which Isolde pointed out a while ago, if I recall correctly. Go ahead, DB.
It didn't say that he was the headmaster. It said that he was at the school because of the ring he had, right?
You had several people along the way who were later able to identify him as the headmaster. But initially,
okay.
you were able to tell that he was from the school because of the ring.
Okay.
And through all of your adventures along the way, you determined that it was the headmaster.
Okay. That's where I was getting confused.
And then there was the Black Cloud stuff and the destroying Gabe's goods wagon.
The big magic
thing.
storm that happened.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess where Isolde would start then, if no one else, if everyone's looking to her and no one else is jumping in, where she would start is it's a Penny Crossing, right?
Pennycross.
Pennycross.
Pennycross. We currently reside in the village of Pennycross.
Ah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a rather lovely little location. It's supposed to be a peaceful retirement from adventuring. However, of late, it has not been that.
You're actually quite popular in Pennycross now.
That I will ask my questions later.
Very fair.
Come visit sometime.
It might not be there by the time that we get back. Who knows? Although a wish spell, they're pretty tenacious.
A wish spell.
I'm enjoying just watching his like expressions change.
He is enthralled by this already.
So there's been a lot going on around Pennycross lately. There was a dragon situation that we dealt with. It was interesting enough, but not too unusual. But we started encountering animals and ogres and some other humanoids who have been being experimented on with necromantic magic.
You see his eyebrows draw together in a frown.
So my question is, and Isolde will describe like what we've been seeing and like go into as much gory detail as she thinks she can get away with, and ask, this is not an accusation from me, but have you seen this sort of thing before, is my question.
I have not seen it myself, but I have heard of it in stories from the last Necromancer's War. There were rumors of attempts to use the necromantic components, necromantic magic, without fully raising the dead.
That does seem to be a lot of what we're seeing. I think the idea is an element of control without dealing with the undead problem specifically.
We have seen hordes of undead, though.
But also it seems to be working.
That sort of magic is, we'll say it is frowned upon. Doesn't stop some from using it.
Well, of course not.
Interesting. All right. And it was this wish spell that showed you an image of myself that ultimately brought you here.
We found a portal not far from where things have been happening, and the phrasing of the wish spell was, please show us an image of the person who owns this portal.
Well, that makes things both easier and harder. Technically, I am responsible for the entirety of Magrona Island, the school grounds and the surrounding area. Ownership is an interesting concept when it comes to a school. We don't have a school board per se. We're not a traditional school. We're a wizarding college. My say is final. And so I suppose if the wish spell were looking for the owner of something on the island, I am as close as you would get.
Which is what I assumed when we thought back on the actual phrasing of the spell.
Interesting. Interesting. So what do you want from me?
I would like to know why there is a transportation circle, presumably, quote unquote, owned by you in the mountain, on the mountain outside Pennycross, that presumably is somehow connected to this island.
Well, again, I believe that comes down to the wibbly wobbly nature of some of the ownership of things here. If something was created using school resources, technically the ownership falls to me of the resources. We do have a number of teleportation circles here at the school. The students don't generally know about them. Then we'd have students coming and going all the time, and that's just a big old mess. It's much simpler to have them using the ferry going to town. It's better for the economy, easier on us. But I know that a number of the staff do have their own teleportation circles set up. And again, if any of them had been created using school resources, it comes back to being property of the school, which falls under my purview.
So to answer your question, I would like to find out who created that teleportation circle and what they're doing in and around the mountains of Pennycross. We're technically retired. We would like to go back to being retired.
I would very much like to go back to being retired.
But if there is undead problems around our home, that kind of becomes an us problem.
Indeed. I would imagine that the mountains were chosen because of the relative lack of population in the area.
Relative. That's right.
Age discrimination once again.
But the mountains themselves are not particularly populated.
Correct.
Correct.
Is there anyone on your staff who would have a connection to those mountains or might know more about them, or, I don't know, feel inclined to drop a zone of truth on all of your teachers and say, hi, have you had anything to do with this? That seems a little brash.
One moment, and he disappears into his office again. And comes back and puts a pamphlet on the table. It is a pamphlet extolling the virtues of Pennycross, the retirement community. We had someone here a few years back who left these for all of the, shall we say, more senior staff members. So,
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, I do believe that most of the staff has heard of Pennycross by now. I know I certainly have. And I know I was considering it as an option when the time comes. So, I don't believe we can narrow it down that way. However, despite the skill demonstrated by the majority of the staff, not everyone has the ability to create an effective teleportation circle. And
especially a permanent teleportation circle.
Exactly. And certainly not one that reliably will travel that far. We do have a few that were able to create teleportation circles just across the channel. That's about the distance that they're capable of creating. We do have several who are contracted for the Porter Network, so I can get you a list of names.
Do you have a count on how many circles are present on the island? That seems like a massive working that someone should have a record of.
Officially, there are supposed to be 12.
Unofficially?
If someone has decided to create one on their own time without securing the appropriate permits, as long as they are not using it in a way that reveals it to anyone, we have no way of knowing.
You can't locate object, a teleportation circle?
Well, that's where it gets a bit tricky, because it will show you the nearest object, and when you've already got a dozen. It's not really high on my list of priorities.
It sounds like that could be an interesting lab exercise for the students.
Set up a survey
Certainly.
map.
Some field work.
Again, I'm trying to keep the existence of the teleportation circles from the students.
It would be older students that would be able to do it, right? That
Some of them,
particular spell is a
perhaps.
little outside of my abilities, but I'm familiar.
There might be some that could, though I doubt that they would attempt it as students. I can work on this. It may take a few days. There are a few trusted staff members that I would be willing to involve in this project. And there are some that I don't trust any further than... I was going to say that I could throw them, but I can magically assist with that and throw them quite far. I don't trust them enough to involve them in this. And of course, locating an object would take spell slots, and we would need to be subtle about it to avoid piquing the interest of students. How urgently are you needing this information?
I mean, the sooner the better, of course. The sooner the better for not having hordes of zombies descend on Pennycross.
Yes. I was going to
It
ask...
kind of literally is a life and death situation out there.
Yes.
That we're trying to get to the bottom of.
Well, I was going to ask what's in it for me, but if we have someone who is experimenting with the sort of things that were involved in the Second Necromancer's War...
We don't need to have a third Necromancer's War. If we can nip this in the bud...
I don't know that we would be able to withstand a third one.
And we certainly don't want word getting out that this is originating from your fine institution here.
No, we certainly would not want that. All right. I will gladly assist.
That's what brought us here.
True enough. I will assist with finding rogue teleportation circles. It will take 2 to 3 days. I don't have... Yes.
Have you any way to narrow down who it might be by their art style?
Possibly. Do you have a drawing of this, or...
Do you have a quill and parchment?
Certainly. And he reaches into another drawer that, again, had been empty when Nelitha examined it.
It's a drawer of holding.
And pulls out a quill and parchment.
Owen is going to do his very best to remember and duplicate the table.
I would like you to roll me performance, but with a disadvantage because your memory is not what it used to be.
I have keen mind.
Oh, okay. Then you can skip the disadvantage.
Okay.
Hooray!
He remembers everything.
You're the only one of the group.
14.
14. All right. With a 14,
Owen took his vitamins.
you are
Good old
able
vitamins.
to get a reasonable facsimile of the table. And the headmaster stares at it for a minute. I'm not sure. It doesn't have anything that seems distinctive to me, but if you don't mind letting me hold on to this, I will again ask the few trusted associates and see what exactly I can find out.
Excellent.
I don't have accommodations for non-students available on the school grounds. However, a little further out on the island, I was going to say that, I would have to ensure that you could be entrusted with keeping secrets, but given everything, I assume you will not share the location with students, but we do have an option for housing you outside of the school grounds.
As long as it's not too much of inconvenience. And so we'll reach into our bag and hold up a cube. I also have options if we need.
That might be a better solution. Yes.
If you would prefer to keep secrets, I understand. And if you have a spot that I can raise this in safely without drawing too much attention.
Yes. I will have one of my aides escort you. You will have to leave the school. And they know a safe place. They will take you just outside of school grounds. And you can set up your accommodations and spend the evening there.
Will we have difficulty returning to school grounds?
No. Though you will introduce yourselves as Mr. Nightshade and his entourage, just for simplicity's sake.
Happy to do that with your blessing. Thank you.
Nelitha, where have you been for this whole conversation?
So I bippity boppitied out of there. When I could find a safe place, I switched to the unruly student that I sneaked a peeked at their file while I was in there.
Okay.
And I'm just hanging out in the lower level.
Okay. While you're hanging out,
Chewing gum, painting graffiti, riding a skateboard.
Yes, all of the things.
the secretary that you had heard earlier. Did I give her any information? I'm trying to recall. Just take a quick look at my notes. Office manuscript. Just that it was a secretary. Well, the secretary comes back into the building and spots you. Spots Tybalt. And you can see her whole demeanor changes.
Not again.
All right. Up we go. Come on. Don't
Where
give
am I
me
going?
that look. You've clearly been sent to the headmaster's office. Come on.
God damn it.
And she leads you up to the office.
Is she in
She
front of
was
me?
trying so hard.
She begins walking, and when you don't follow, she walks over. Says, "Are we going to do this the hard way?"
No, and I get up and walk with her.
All right.
So compliant.
Is she in front of me though?
She is trying to keep herself to the side of you. She knows this kid.
You're being escorted.
You are being escorted.
You're being frog marched through with what's going
God.
on.
And you are escorted to the front little office where the secretary's desk is.
Okay.
Stand over there in the corner. You know the drill.
There's a drill.
Hold on.
Kid.
I'm gonna get out of this.
And so when you go in, you notice that... Give me a perception roll, please.
Okay. Dice. 27.
27. All right. You notice that the bottom of the door to the left, the door leading to the room where everyone is, has just a faint glow to it. It's like there's a light at the bottom of the door
Where my friends are.
where your friends are. And the secretary turns her head and sighs. Well, he's got someone in there.
I mean, you could just like let me go.
No, that's not how this works.
I didn't do anything.
Tybalt. Just wait there. And she begins working on something at her desk. With that 27, you notice that you cannot hear a damn thing from that other room. There's absolutely no sound coming through that door. Back inside.
I'd love
the
to be able to do that with a spell.
Oh,
I'd
I
love
know,
to be able
right?
to like put a bubble of silence around myself.
I
God,
think-
that'd be so good.
Nolita's
So
just
much screaming.
I'd use it as my recording space, but also, you know.
Potato, potato.
Nolitha definitely thinks that you're all dead, and she has to get off this island by herself.
That's fair.
Gotta pick up Erasmus on your way out.
Nah, he's dead to her now too. It's a whole escape plan going through her mind.
Well, in the other room, the headmaster finishes his whiskey and sets it down. I feel like I could use another one of these, but
I was just about to ask.
It is an excellent vintage.
yes, this was a lovely one. Right. So I will gather the troops and set things up so that I can detect any unauthorized teleportation circles. We will have one of my aides escort you to a secure location to spend your evening. Tomorrow, you'll return as Mr. Nightshade and his entourage. I'm very uncomfortable with this turn of events. I'm sure you are
Me
as
too.
To the club. Welcome to the club.
Yes, yes.
Yes, this has been an ongoing thing for the last weeks, and it's making our retirement very uncomfortable.
Yes, I would imagine so. And let's do our best to get this resolved. I'd like to get you back to being comfortably retired. Yes, well. Mr. Nightshade,
Yes, sir.
have you got a first name that we can use? Horace.
Deadly. Oh, I can't lie.
That's not a lie.
So-
That's
It's just
a
a suggestion.
suggestion.
Okay.
Deadly.
So,
that's
Meta, I don't remember if Nightshade had a first name that had been
I
revealed
don't
already.
think you had done that. I think he just referred to you as Mr.
Okay.
Nightshade.
Okay.
I do like Deadly. Dudley.
Yeah.
We could.
Dudley
he
Nightshade.
starts chuckling. He's tickled by
Batman
his
ass villain name.
Totally go with
Dudley,
that.
Dudley. Oh right, Dudley Nightshade. Yes, I will. I will leave word at the front that they should expect Mr. Dudley Nightshade and his entourage to be returning tomorrow. Oh, perhaps I don't need another whiskey.
I'll take yours.
One moment, and he disappears back into his office, and then comes back with a mostly full bottle. Sets it down.
Is this a to-go decanter?
Yes. Do you need me to take a swig to prove it's safe?
Help yourself, but
He will just
it's up to you.
straight from the bottle.
Good man.
Right. Enjoy it.
I will.
Thank you, sir. And we will see you in the morning.
Yes, we shall reconvene tomorrow. Yes.
And if there's anything that we can do to be of assistance in the search process, we are not without resources.
Do any of you have the locate object spell?
And Isolde's eyes kind of go like distant for a second, as she essentially calls on her goddess to ask that question, and then her eyes refocus. And yes, not currently prepared, but yes.
If you are able to prepare it, we could use your assistance in searching.
I can certainly do so.
Right. Well, I will be calling a selected staff meeting this evening, and I believe I will approach it as I have been made aware of the presence of some unauthorized teleportation circles, and currently the objective is to locate them and document them. There are no plans for any punishment. At the moment, I don't
Plans
have
may
any
change.
plans, but indeed, plans are flexible.
They are indeed. And I mean, it's always a good idea to have a count of that sort of thing anyway.
Absolutely.
You don't want someone being able to sneak in and out.
You're not angry, you're just disappointed.
Oh, I do disappointed so very well. All right. Well,
Certainly believe that.
I appreciate your candor today.
And I appreciate you hearing us out
Certainly.
for all that I may say otherwise we did effectively come in under false pretenses. I know quite a few magical users who would have blasted us as soon as they figured it out.
Well, I pride myself on being a reasonable man, for the most part.
And I do appreciate your fine whiskey.
Have you had a tour of the campus yet? I assume you've been here for a little while at least.
We've seen some of the area, not all of it.
I can arrange for you to have an official tour if you would like. And we'll arrange for you to have a good meal at the cafeteria before you depart for the evening, if you would like.
That would be lovely.
All right. Give me just a moment then. And he will step through the door into the other office where the secretary is at her desk and Nelitha is in the corner as Tybalt. And he will step through and step towards the secretary and then catch sight of the student in the corner. And you see his body language mimic the secretary's. Just, I do not have the energy for this today.
You can just let me go. I didn't do anything.
You will return here first thing tomorrow morning.
Sounds good.
Right.
Riley?
I need to arrange a tour for my guests. And are you leaving, like, running out right away, or are you going to be slow enough that you can catch what he has to say?
Slow enough to catch what he has to say.
Okay, so you do hear him talking to his secretary to arrange for a full tour for Mr. Nightshade and his entourage, including anything they would like to eat from the cafeteria, and then to have one of his aides sent to find him immediately.
Okay. Gonna loiter in the hallway waiting for my group to come back out.
Are you loitering as Tybalt? Are you loitering as Sammy Two Toes? Are you loitering as Nelitha?
I'm gonna loiter as Sammy Two Toes.
All right. So you are able to change yourself back to Sammy Two Toes. And it's not long before one of the aides rushes up, a very harried-looking halfling. Yes, hi, yes. I am here to provide you with a tour of the campus. Mr. Nightshade. She looks around until she locks eyes with Owen first. Mr. Nightshade?
No.
Mr. Nightshade. Mr. Nightshade. Lovely to
Hello.
meet you. I am sorry, I didn't have a
Yes.
photograph or a picture or painting, anything like that.
It's okay.
If you'll come with me, I can begin the official tour of the campus.
Delightful. Thank you.
And
Do you have like a campus in like a brochure about the campus that we can refer to as we enjoy our tour?
Oh, yes. We will begin at the administrative building, and I will pick one up there
Perfect.
for you.
Thank you.
And
I'd love to see a campus map, for example.
absolutely, yes, we will get you one. And so this little aide leads you back to the administrative building. Nelitha, you are absolutely able to catch up and follow along with them if you want. And they take you to the administrative building. They duck inside briefly and come back out with 4 maps because, well, there's an extra person. 4 maps, and hand out maps
Thank
to
you.
all of you.
Thank you.
Right. And yes, let's begin with the library. And she leads you towards the library.
We've been to the library. We were here for the the talk that the headmaster gave earlier today.
But did they tell you about the history of the library?
maybe you know what?
They
That's
did
I
not.
love.
Why don't you go ahead and do
Oh,
that?
wonderful. And she launches into this spiel, and you can tell that this is what this particular aide does. This is the tour guide aide. And begins giving you a grand tour of the campus.
And while she's like occupied with Herder, because charisma draw, Issa will fall a little bit to the back and quietly catch Nelitha up on everything that's going on.
Perfect.
Thought you were dead.
I
To escape.
I mean, 3 against 1. He was a very powerful magic user. Almost caught me with his zone of truth. Very close, but you know, 1 of him, 3 of us.
Would have been
It would have
bad.
at least been a long fight.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything. I was in the office for a little bit as a troublesome student. Not doing that again. I was put into a corner.
As you
Nobody
should
puts
be.
baby in the corner.
I bet that hasn't happened to you since you were wee
Ever.
tiny.
Ever.
Fair enough.
Also,
But yeah.
I have things that I found out.
Yes, as soon as we get back, once we're ensconced where we're going to be for the evening, we'll do a full rundown.
Do I stay as student?
I am going to suggest that we recruit Callie to help us with something.
I do like.
Corrupting the
yes.
youth.
Yes, that's. I couldn't think of the words. Yes.
I think that if we can time it with the ferry, you two go down there, you change back into you, and oh, another member of Mr. Nightshade's entourage has arrived. I'm being kind enough to escort her in.
So here's the thing. Callie doesn't know that I am not a student.
No. But Callie is very grateful to us for a whole lot of things right now, and I think she'd be willing to do one small favor. And she's an actual student. Because you've been caught out as not.
True, I could just take her form.
No.
I haven't done anything as a student. Anything bad. Well, that I haven't been caught for doing
There.
anything bad. as a
Exactly.
student.
Exactly. And I would prefer to keep it that way. And it's just easier if
I
it's a
feel
group of.
Very attacked. Saying that you think that I would get Callie caught.
What's the saying that the kids are using these days? Facts don't care about your feelings.
I don't think the kids are saying that.
Not the kids.
Weirdly, a lot of people like Gen Z and younger millennials, they really like that guy. I don't understand, but anyway, real world politics are staying elsewhere.
Mhm, yeah.
We're not talking about that.
Nope.
Fine. You never let me have any fun.
We let you have all kinds of fun the last day. Several days, in fact. I think it is time for you to pretend to be a grown up person for a little bit.
I'm not a grown-up person.
No, you're an old person, like the rest of us.
That wounds me.
All right. I
I
feel
am
like
a paladin with an excellent grasp on my sword. Dear.
and I think that's where we're going to end for the evening.
I love you, DB.
I love you too.
Thank you all.
Nalitha and Assault are gonna stab each other someday.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but also like Isola has a lot of respect for Nelitha. Like
Somebody's gotta get shit done in this group.
she may not necessarily like Nelitha, but she really respects Nelitha. And in a lot of ways, that's way more powerful. Because she can trust that Nelitha will get shit done. And man, when you're the paladin of the group and kind of the de facto leader, just having that ability to trust is kind of good. Kiss, kiss.
Well, theoretically, we will be back here in 2 weeks. I have to do some time math to make sure that I really will be here, but we should be back here in 2 weeks.
Time math.
Thank you all for coming and sticking around and watching us play. And thank you all for playing with me tonight. This was lovely as always.
It was good. I needed this.
Thank you for telling us the story.
Yeah.
Danny, are we still fundraising for the pupper?
Not officially. She has had her surgery and she is recovering.
Good.
So, I still have bills to pay, but officially the fundraising is done because she has had the surgery and so it has been paid.
Yay.
Yay, credit cards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look, you gotta do what you gotta do. So.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, thank you all, and we will see you back here in about 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.